Have you ever been in a storm? A rainstorm, a snowstorm, or a tornado, or even worse? I have. And typically with those storms, there are warnings. There are all kind of bells and whistles that go off. You can even go outside and see the storm cloud. And then, you can even smell the rain. Can you smell the rain? Yeah, I can. Well, all of my life, I had always had a warning before the storm. That is until 2009. So in 2009, I then thought, this is time for me to go and have a checkup. This is time for me to go and see about myself. We had already had a storm we were just coming out of because my mother had had a health challenge that shocked our world. My mother raised 7 children on her own, and we love our mother dearly. And anything that happened to our mother, it really was a storm for our family. And you see, I'm the second oldest of those 7 children, those 7 amazing children. And I'm like sister mom to my siblings. So we came out of that storm. So then in April comes. And then here I am going to check on myself. And then I receive a report that my test came back as abnormal. Ladies, that test that we get after we go and have that appointment, that yearly appointment, that we all must keep no matter how treacherous it is, okay? But we have to keep that appointment. And, I then said, Doc, what does this mean? She said, well, it can mean that the report is wrong or that there's something more serious, but let's rule things out. So then she sent me to an OBGYN. And they did the same report. And she said, why don't we send you to an oncologist? And matter of fact, a gynecologic oncologist. And I said, well, doctor, do you see cancer? She said, it's not that I see cancer, but I definitely want to rule it out. I said, no problem. I go see the gynecologic oncologist. I then get my results a few days later. And those results were alarming. There were no symptoms in my body to make me think that anything was going on. Heck, I didn't even have a sniffle. Okay, so there was nothing going on in my body that would make me think that there was something abnormal growing inside of me. And I, at that moment, received the news that I was to have surgery in 3 days because I was diagnosed with stage 3 cervical cancer, high grade papillary serous carcinoma of the cervix. And that because it was so aggressive, they needed to get me into surgery as soon as possible because of the aggressiveness and the viciousness of this type of cancer. And I said, I need a second opinion. And the doctor said, you will have that second opinion, but he said, you can't take long because you don't have that kind of time. And then I said, doctor, I need to get that second opinion. He said, I'm letting you know how serious this is. Because if it attaches itself to your organs, you will not live. You will die. I said, that's death sentence number 1. And doctor, that's the last one. I don't need to hear that. I then went to the other doctor who did his own independent report. And then that came back as me having the same thing. Diagnosed with the exact same cancer. He said, it's the same. He said, but here's the thing. It is already spreading. It is already spreading because from the first report and what I see in this one, it is already moved. And then I said, thank you. I need to take some time. He said, you don't have time. He said, ma'am, look at me, Miss Jones. He said, you need to have either me do this surgery or the doctor who diagnosed you the first time. I said, thank you. I need to take the time. He said, you don't have time. I thanked him again. And I did what I would normally do in any other storm. How many of you have that place where you would go when it is a storm out and you need to go shelter in place? You have that place in your home, maybe in your basement, or in a place where you know that you are in the safest place. Yeah, I had to find that place. And the safest place that I knew was in the arms of God. So just like in a regular storm, when we go and shelter in place, I first had to send out that SOS. I'm going to be honest with you. I had to send out that SOS. I needed help, and I knew I needed help. So I then got into a place where I knew that I was safe. Just like in a regular storm, I did it. And like in a regular storm, we're praying, Lord Jesus, please let the storm pass, And I don't think my prayers went something like that, but I then got in that place of safety and prayed. And then just like in a regular storm, there are times when there are obstacles that are on shelves or in a place where you are, and you want to make sure you remove those objects and things that, could come down and hurt your head, or, make sure that you can be safe in this space. Well, I had to do the same thing when things started coming to my head, when there were obstacles blocking, positivity. There was obstacles blocking, the will to live. There were obstacles blocking, trying to block that. There were objects trying to come, at my head and destroy my thoughts and to destroy all the things that I knew better of. Because my good book tells me that thou will keep you in perfect peace if your mind is stayed on him. And everything was trying to come in the way of that. And I had to stand firm and not allow it. So then, yes, with that other S and SOS, I had to stay in a place of safety until I knew it was safe to come out. And then I stood in that place of safety. And you know how it is when the storm is over, you're kind of looking around and then you say, okay, it's safe to come out, and you stand. I had to do that too. And so I got into that place of safety, and I knew that it was time for me to come out when I heard these words: it is not unto death. I got excited, and I decided then that I was going to live and be on the other side of this ugliness that was growing in my body. So I tell you, when a storm of life happens, you have to send out an SOS and know that you shelter in place, you pray, you remove all those obstacles that is going to come in the way, and then you stand firm in that place of safety and know that you shall live and not die. And when fear comes knocking, allow your faith to answer that door. This is Lisa Yvette Jones, your chief encouragement, inspirational, and empowerment coach, counselor, and consultant, and yes, best-selling author. Have a great day. Bye-bye.